Hello, my name's Ruth Beer. I'm profoundly deaf and I work as a deaf awareness trainer. I've come to the Jewellery Quarter today with the aim of making a film about deaf awareness. The aim of this film is to challenge some common misconceptions and misunderstandings and to show how these actually affect the day-to-day experiences of deaf and hard of hearing people. Across the UK, there are approximately 12 million deaf and hard of hearing people, which is roughly 1 in 5. My own experiences here in the Jewellery Quarter have been generally good. However, it is still useful to look at examples of how things can go wrong and how they could be put right. Of course, making improvements like these will be of benefit to businesses and the service they are able to offer their customers. Everything you will see in this film has actually happened in real life to me and to many other deaf people. You might find it difficult to believe that some of these scenarios have actually happened, but I assure you they have. Just now, I've come to a cafe to meet with a hairdresser. We're going to talk about options for wedding hairstyles, as I'm getting married in a few months' time.
Hi, sorry I'm late. I had real trouble parking around here. Yeah, you don't drive though, do you? Oh, I see.
She seems surprised that I drive. I do in fact drive, as many deaf people do. What you really need in order to drive is your eyes. You don't really need your ears.
So you have children. Are they deaf too? Your children, are they deaf as well? Oh, that's really interesting, yeah.
So she assumed that my children would be deaf. My children are not deaf, they're hearing. And in fact, 90% of children born to deaf parents will be hearing.
Yes. You must have loads of ideas. Are you really creative?
So here she's assumed that as a deaf person I'm probably creative, perhaps particularly good with handicrafts. But deaf people, just like hearing people, vary. Some are creative and others not. In fact, you will find deaf people working in a huge range of jobs, including as doctors, nurses, psychologists, counsellors, drivers, office workers, some even as chief executives, as well as those who run their own businesses. I'm in the Jewellery Quarter, and I'm here to look for a wedding ring. And I'm wondering how accessible the whole process is going to be for me as a deaf person. Let's find out.
Hello, can I help you? Hello, can you hear me? I'm not sure you can hear me. I'll just buzz you in.
So here we have our first barrier, the intercom system, which I can't use as it relies on being able to speak and hear. So instead I've had to try to wave.
Hello! Sorry about that. Oh, you're deaf?
No.
You'd like to remove my mask? No problem. I'm sorry, the intercom, it works fine for normal hearing people.
There are a couple of issues going on here. Firstly, is the mask issue, which of course is a huge issue at the moment during the coronavirus pandemic, and it creates an immediate barrier to communication. I asked if she would remove or lower her mask, which in this case she did. Sometimes people will, and sometimes people are happy to do that. The second issue was a word she used when apologising about the intercom. She said that it worked well for normal hearing people, and I would query the use of this word normal. Aren't deaf people normal? I would not recommend using this word. We are all human after all.
How can I help? Oh, you're looking for an engagement ring. Oh, the light. Oh, there's too much light. Yeah, if I stand here, would that be better? Yeah.
So another issue here is that the window is in front of me, and this means the light is blaring into my face and I can't see her face at all, so I've asked her to move to the side so I can see her better and be able to communicate.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got these lovely engagement rings. Have a look and let me know. Oh, you want a wedding ring? Sorry, you've got an engagement ring, haven't you?
Another issue's come up here. I've been presented with rings which I was keen to look at, but while I was looking at them she continued talking, and it was only when I looked up that I realised she was still talking. So I've asked her to repeat and explained that she'll need to pause while I'm looking down. It's important to remember that eye contact is needed. If the person looks away, you'll need to wait until they look back.
So here we've got some lovely wedding rings. Have a look. It'd be helpful if we knew your budget, the material, so gold, platinum, silver. Oh yes, of course, yeah, that's fine.
You may have noticed that I asked her to write some information down. Sometimes when there's a lot of information, it can be impossible to get it all from lip reading, and I might ask the person if they wouldn't mind writing it down for me. Sometimes it can be important to do that if it's difficult to take in or there's a lot of complex information, but I would say it's a last resort. I'm in a cafe, just waiting for a friend to join me. I'll order some food, but I wonder what the barriers will be here. Let's see.
Hello, can I take your order? Oh, you need to keep your mask on, I'm afraid, and I need to keep mine on. Oh, you're deaf, you need me to take it off? Okay, sure. Can I take your order?
So of course the mask has made communication very difficult straight away. But masks aren't the only problem. There are others as well. Plastic visors are better, but they're still not great. And that's because you can get light reflecting from their surface, making it very difficult to lip read through them. This can be similar at counters where you have plastic screens you're trying to see through. So there are a number of issues affecting deaf and hard of hearing people at the moment.
Can I take your order, please? We don't have any table menus, I'm afraid, for hygiene reasons, but everything's on the board, so you can just order from there.
So you'll see that I haven't been given a menu, and that's because we're reducing shared items. Some cafes and restaurants will have their menus on a board, sometimes in front of the counter, but sometimes behind the counter, and this can be very difficult. As a deaf person, you may need to point to show which item you want, and that can take a lot of time, or if the board is at the front of the counter, the assistant behind can't see it. So this can be very difficult when you're ordering. Something else deaf people have experienced pre-pandemic is that when they've asked for a menu, what they've been given is a Braille menu. Of course, this is for blind people, not for deaf people. Another issue that can happen is when a deaf person has an assistance dog with them. They're called hearing dogs, and their role is to alert their owner to different sounds in their environment. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not aware of the role of the dog, and it has even been known that hearing people will approach the dog to ask the dog what the deaf person wants.
Yeah, 1 minute, I'm just serving someone. Okay, sure. Yeah, you can write it down. Okay, yeah, 1 minute, I'm just taking someone's order. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no problem. I can get that for you. All right, then, thanks.
She seemed a bit rushed, and I'm wondering if she read my order correctly. I've been given 2 straws, but I only ordered 1 drink, which was a chocolate frappe, and a chocolate cookie, but it seems she hasn't read that properly, which could be for a range of reasons, but in this case I think because she was rushed. So in terms of how this could be improved, of course, patience and taking your time with customers is needed. It's important to value each customer. If you're rushed and a bit grumpy or a bit annoyed, the deaf person will very quickly lose confidence and not feel that they are a valued customer. This is worth thinking about. Another issue can arise at the end when you pay your bill. So there's a number of different ways that this can happen in a cafe or in a restaurant. Sometimes you might be given a paper bill and you can see clearly how much is owing on there. That's easy. You may have to go to the counter, and on the counter it may be that there is a till with a reverse display that the customer can see to see how much they owe. That's nice and easy. If there isn't a display on the till that faces the customer, you may have to rely on being told the amount owing. Add to that a screen and it's very difficult to find out what you owe. Numbers in particular can be very difficult to lip read, the difference between 15 and 50 for example, and you can end up paying too little or too much. So sometimes it can be best to ask the person to write down how much is owing.
Pardon? Oh, you need help? You need help across the road?
You may have seen the man try to take my arm to help me across the road. I didn't really need this, and most deaf people wouldn't need this kind of assistance, but he's made an assumption about what I needed. It's always better to wait until the deaf person has explained what they need before you do anything.
Oh, you need help? You need help across the road? Oh, the wedding dress shop. Oh, right, okay. So, what you want to do? Up this road, and then you want to take a left, and then you want... Oh! Okay, so what you need to do, you just need to keep going that way. So you need to go that way, take a left. Slow down. Okay. So what you want to do?
3 things happened there. Firstly, when I asked for directions and he realised that I was deaf, straight away he started to shout. Now, shouting doesn't really have any benefit. Some deaf people don't hear anything at all. And for those trying to lip read, if you shout, it distorts your lip patterns. For those who wear a hearing aid, it can be painfully loud when people shout. So that was the first issue. Secondly, when he tried to explain the directions to me, he turned his head to the other way, away from me, and I had to ask him to turn to face me so I could lip read him. So that was difficult. And then when he again tried to explain the directions, he was so over the top with his gestures, and it was too much. Just simple, calm gestures is perfectly simple and good enough.
So what you want to do is you want to take the street along here, and then you want to take a left. You want to take a left.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you want to go straight over across, and then you'll find the wedding dress shop, okay? No problem. No problem. Do you want me to take you there now? No, I insist, please. Let me do it. Are you sure? No problem. Okay, bye now.
So he offered to accompany me to show me the way. And sometimes people may appreciate that. That might be very welcome if that makes it easier for them. And other people prefer to be more independent if they're confident in the directions given, and they might prefer to go on their own way. Of course, this is a matter of individual choice.
Do you want me to take you there now? No, I insist, please. Let me do it. Let me help you. I don't mind. Are you sure? No problem. Okay, bye now.
I hope this film has given you some food for thought and a chance to reflect on how you might be able to help improve behaviours and attitudes so that deaf and hard of hearing people are better understood and supported. Do remember that all of the examples shown in this film are drawn from real life experiences that either I or other deaf people have had. At the end of this film, you will see a list of communication tips, as well as a list of web links for organisations where you can find out further information.